Well, friends, welcome to our midweek message. My name is Phil Harrington. I am the rector of St Mary's, and I want to thank you for joining us. Now, it's quite possible that you might be feeling a little bit gloomy or a bit demotivated or a bit dismayed at the news of the increasing restrictions that are coming our way with the resurgence of the pandemic. And we might just be thinking, well, how on earth is this autumn and winter going to play out? And as I said, it's quite easy just to become a bit demoralized. And it's really important when we're feeling this to go back to the great promises of the scriptures and to feed our minds with those and to remind ourselves of what they say. And one of the verses I want to just touch base on now comes from Romans chapter 15, verse 13. And it says this: "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit." And I love this single verse because it contains such rich truths. Firstly, we get a little glimpse into part of the character of the God that we have faith in, and that is that he is a God of hope. We're also reminded in these verses that we can experience the reality of that relationship with God in our lives. St. Paul says, "May the God of hope fill you with joy and peace." And how many of us would really love a little bit more of that joy and peace in such unsettling and uncertain times? Well, how do we experience that? Well, St. Paul says we experience that joy and peace as we trust in God. And when we trust in God, it means that we know that he has our lives in his hands, that there is nothing that we will experience that is not in his will and that he cannot redeem. As we've been looking at here as a church community, when it comes to things like suffering, it's never futile. God can use it for good. And so we are a people who can have real hope because we know that however tough this time might be, actually God can do things in our lives personally, in ourselves as a church community, in the life of this nation to redeem the time that we feel has been lost. And that is all empowered by God's Holy Spirit. And St. Paul says, well, may those feelings of hope overflow from your heart, empowered by the Spirit. And it just got me remembering and thinking again, how can we as a church community still be a blessing to the village? How can we be a people whose hope overflows out of our hearts into the lives of those around us? We've still got a mission. We've still got a calling to be good news to our neighbors. In all of this, how can your faith in Jesus overflow into the lives of those around you who may need a bit of encouragement, who may be feeling dismayed or unsettled again? How can you bring them the hope offered by Jesus Christ? So what does Romans 15 verse 13 say? It says this: "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit." And so, friends, I'll be praying that for each of you, your hearts may overflow with that joy and peace as you trust in God, and that you will be able to be a blessing to those around you. So I hope that is an encouragement of you. There are loads more great promises in the scriptures. Why don't you do a deep dive into some of those and feed yourselves with those truths? So thank you once again for listening. I hope you'll be able to join us up at St Mary's at 10 o'clock or online as well as we gather to worship. So thanks a lot for listening. Have a good few days, and we hope to see you again on Sunday. Bye for now.